Hi, I'm Kelsey from RoughAndTumbleFarmhouse.com, and today we are finally replacing and fixing up a lot of our homestead fence. We came to our homestead 3 years ago, and when we did a little bit of fencing patch up. All we had was a cow and her calf and a couple of Katahdin ewes. And so we added some woven wire to the bottom, but I really didn't have a lot of experience with woven wire when we moved here. I learned how to do high tensile fencing and how to do a temporary like step-in fencing, that kind of electric, but really not woven wire, so we didn't put it in very well. And we were putting it in what was clearly on top of what was probably, 50 years worth of cobbled together fencing on top of fencing. So I'm going to show you what our fence kind of currently looks like and what the new fence is looking like as our project. And I know we're not the only ones that deal with fencing as an issue. Fencing sucks for just about everybody, but we've got another baby coming here in about a month and a half or so. And our cows are constantly breaking out, so this just needs to happen because my husband's gone a lot for work. And last winter there was definitely a time or two where our cows escaped, went a quarter mile down the road to the neighbors who must have like primo hay, I guess, and I had to put my toddler on my back, walk down there. It was like, thankfully it was above freezing that day, with 2 halters, get the cows, walk them back, and that's just not happening this year. So we're making it a priority to get our fencing really secure so we don't have animals escaping on us, because good fences make good neighbors. So here, embarrassingly, is the sort of fencing that our cows are just straight up strolling over, and I mean, go figure, right? So when we came here, all it was barbed wire like this, and then the electric wire up here across the top, and then we added this in, but did not put nearly enough T-posts in between to keep it really taut the way it should be, so it is obviously slagged quite a bit. And is just honestly too short for what we need. We have goats. Goats are awful about escaping, and the cows just smush it straight flat. So, and then on top of that, not over here, but in other spots, we had also added in a line of hot wire along the bottom to keep our sheep in, especially the lambs were just wriggling under the fence. But then this, as you can see here, we're along the edge of kind of a scraggly wooded area and trying to keep that hot wire free from vines and sticks and plants and stuff was an absolute nightmare. So woven wire just makes a lot more sense along the bottom. And so as you can see too, our woods here are just littered. I'm sure some of you also have this experience with, again, about 50 years of garbage, not ours, but just when that was kind of more the thing to just throw your trash in your shelter belts. It's just, there's so much all over the place. So I'll show you what we are doing now to make our fencing secure and look a heck of a lot nicer than it looks now. So this back corner here is one that we are actually going to completely cut off. We're going to run a brand new line all the way from here over. You can see on the other side of the manure pile there is a big tote, and I'll show you that in a second what we're doing for a corner post because it gets pretty swampy back here. Normally this is solid jewel weed, but it has been a very dry year, so there isn't anything growing back here at all, except for, as you can see, more and more trash. I think this must have been one of their main trash piles because especially this year, since it's been exposed, we've cleaned this up I don't know how many times, but just more and more garbage seems to rise to the surface with erosion, which is just, it's so gross. So we're just cutting this corner off completely because having garbage like that and stuff is super risky, especially for cows that we've had cows, not here, but other places, die from hardware disease. Okay, hopefully you can hear me over the sawing. Sorry, multitasking here. This horrible corner is one that, again, we're completely just going around. It's just, I mean, look at this. Look at this cobble of stuff. Oh, there goes a tree. It's just absolutely horrible. And like you can see here, it's just, I mean, if this was a wetter year, I would be up to my ankles just kind of in muck. I mean, look at this. Just horrible. So the chainsawing got a little bit loud there, so we'll just do a voiceover. Here's what we used for a corner. This is an old tote that my dad got. We filled it up with some concrete crap that was laying around the homestead and just drilled some holes in the bottom for drainage, and it is solid as a rock. There's my husband, who's rarely in the videos, doing a little bit of tractor work. My dad came and brought his tractor, which is why we were even able to get this work done. And there's my dad's leg. He does not like to be filmed on things or on social media, so there's just his legs cutting down some trees that were in spots where they very likely will fall in the not too distant future, and they would fall right on the fence. So we did a little bit of preemptive tree cutting. And there's me, 8 months pregnant. It was pretty hot that day. It was in the mid 80s, but thankfully we had a really good breeze. Here's one of our new, not corners, but kind of gate edges here that we installed. Here you can see how we pulled the woven wire tight using my dad's tractor and a metal bar. You can also use a come along for this, but this seemed to work really well for getting it nice and taut. And then we went ahead and stapled it in and then used clips to clip it to the T-posts. All along the top, I'm also putting in a line of hot wire because our cows are total jerks and goats are jerks, and even with the woven wire, they'll still try and smush it or get over it. So here you can see a length of the new woven wire that is installed, and I'll show you here where I'm going to be putting the hot wire. I'm going to do at least one line here, possibly one more higher up, but we have a lot of problems with deer catching the wire, so I think maybe just a lower one will be enough. We'll have to see, but man, doesn't that look a lot better. And here's just a shot of my great grandpa's fencing pliers and a new pair we got as a wedding gift. Pretty much the same darn tool. So that is what we are working on here on the homestead today, getting our fencing good and situated. And I gotta tell you, it is just such a relief to have good solid fencing when you have animals, especially when you have neighbors and you're by a road and everything. So it's just gonna be so nice to have that done. So that's just a little taste of some of the work we're doing out here on the homestead this fall. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions at all, please comment below, or any great tips on keeping animals fenced better. Could certainly always use more of those. You can always check back here every week for a new video, and over on the blog for 2 new posts about farming, family food, and fortitude here at our Rough and Tumble farmhouse.